So this is 22 facts. 22 facts about the Ukraine. Even Sarah Silverman gets it. Even Sarah Silverman gets it. Jesus Christ. Everybody, you just want the empire to crumble like how we crumbled in Afghanistan? Just give everybody the damn military equipment and shit and just fucking run. Tuck tail and hide. That's what the fuck you want to do? At the very least, let's have like a 6-month, withdrawal from the empire back to isolationism, right? We're just going to push us into isolation. That's the foreign policy that you support, allowing Putin to push America into isolationism. Oh, man. Talk about macheting through the goddamn jungle just to go back to where you fucking started and to do it all over again. What was the goddamn point? What was the goddamn point? The tradition of painting eggs in celebration of Easter first began in the Ukraine. The first Easter eggs were colored using wax and dye. The first gas lamp was invented in Lviv, Ukraine. Ukraine's national anthem is titled "Ukraine Has Not Perished Yet." Ukraine has not perished yet. Ukraine has not perished yet. Let's, you want to hear some of the lyrics? This is some of the lyrics, and sung exactly. The glory and freedom of the Ukrainian. The glory and the freedom of Ukraine has not yet perished. Luck will still smile on us, brother. Ukrainians, our enemies will die as the dew does in the sunshine. And we too, brothers, will live happily in the land and will not spare either of our souls or bodies to get freedom, and will prove that we brothers are of Kozakkin. Kozakkin. I told you they're the damn Cossacks. Why would it be in their fucking national anthem if they're not the Cossacks? The glory and freedom of Ukraine has not perished. Luck will still smile on us, brother. Ukrainians, our enemies, will die as the dew does on the sunshine, and we too, brothers, will live happily in our land. I like it. And our enemies will die as the dew does in the sunshine. Die and sunshine don't really rhyme, but they kind of do, don't they? Our enemies will die as the dew does in the sunshine, and we too, brothers, will live happily in our dime. What? In our dime? It says land. I couldn't think of a word that rhymed that was synonymous with land. We'll not spare either of our souls or bodies to get freedom, and will prove that we brothers are of Kozakkin, are of Kozakkin, are of Kozakkin. Remember Sarah Silverman when she was like, "You Bernie Sanders lovers are pathetic. You want a better country. You want a better America. You're pathetic." Even Sarah Silverman gets it. God, TYT and Jink and fucking Anna are crushing it. God, they are fucking crushing it. In 1933, the Soviet government refused to respond to a grain famine that occurred across Ukraine, which resulted in the death of 15% of Ukraine's population. Approximately 4.8 million people. I thought it was just 4 million. Nope, 4.8 million. Oh, shit. I forgot 800,000 people. During the grain famine of the 1930s, there were 2,000 Ukrainians who were arrested for cannibalism. So Joe Stalin, he couldn't be bothered to, plan. He didn't plan to have enough grain in 1932, so, he went ahead and stole the damn crops at the farmers, the Ukrainian farmers, the Kulaks. What? You got 6 acres of land? Well, that's like an encomienda. That's like 500,000 acres. You got 2 cows? Well, shit. You think you're better than everybody? So, Jesus Christ, now he's going to steal the grain stores, of the Ukrainian people, since, their Russian crops are crap. So he steals the grain stores from the Ukrainian people, and some of the Ukrainians are resorting to cannibalism. That's how fucking bad shit got. 4.8 million people, they weren't allowed to leave. They were like, refugees, you think you starving motherfuckers are going to come into Russia? No, we're going to steal your damn grain, and we're not going to give you any place to go. Nope. An open-air concentration camp. The longest musical instrument in the world is a wooden horn called a Trembita, and a Trembita is played by Polish and Ukrainian Highlanders. In 2004, Ukrainians gathered for a peaceful mass protest known as the Orange Revolution. The protest succeeded in forcing the government to overturn the results of a rigged election. You had the Orange Revolution, then the 1991 Revolution, where the, Soviet Union collapses. The protest succeeded in forcing the government to overturn the results of a rigged election. Yeah, we don't like rigged elections, right? Fuck rigged elections. Democracy is supposed to be fair. 2014, Russian President Vlad the Mad invaded the Crimean Peninsula in Ukraine, held a so-called referendum that annexed the peninsula into the Russian Federation. The Ukrainian government and the United Nations condemned the referendum as a violation of international law. Mila Kunis, when she was being raised in the Ukraine, had cloth diapers. Her mother was using cloth diapers. I had cloth diapers. So Kentucky and the Ukraine, basically growing up in Kentucky, growing up in the Ukraine, there ain't no goddamn difference. There's probably less Nazis in the Ukraine. Ukraine has one of the highest levels of religious freedom and diversity in all of Europe. Okay, that's different. The Ukrainian language is one of the most beautiful languages in the world. More beautiful than French and Spanish and English and German combined. Ukrainians celebrate Kupala Night, a summer holiday. This holiday's traditions involves young couples jumping over a fire, and legend holds that if a boy and girl can maintain their handhold, then their love will last forever. Well, they jumped over the fire, and they didn't let go. Nope, they jumped over the whole fire. They didn't let go. No. They're going to be married forever. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Ukraine's economy was in turmoil, resulting in much of the Ukraine operating on the barter system. Now that's a spicy meatball. Just 1 week after invading Ukraine's capital city of Kiev, the Nazi Germans took an estimated 34,000 Jews, pretty much the entire Jewish population in Kiev, to the valley of BBN ER, and massacred them. Fuck. During the Soviet era, the Kulaks, a term for landowning peasants, were declared enemies of the state. In 1930, the Soviet government ordered the liquidation of Kulaks. In a 3-month period known as the dekulakization of Ukraine, around 250,000 Ukrainians were either killed or exiled to Siberia. There's a large Ukrainian population in Western Siberia. Ukraine should take Western Siberia over and then have a referendum. Ukraine needs to take Western Siberia over. There's Ukrainian majority districts in Western Siberia. But that dekulakization, that started in 1930, so this fucking famine is going to be 1932. 4.8 million Ukrainians. Joseph Stalin, the communists, the people that care if the poor people are getting fed. That's, Karl Marx was all about making sure everybody could be fed. What page is Karl Marx where it says starve the shit out of the Ukrainian people and steal their grain to where 4.8 million Ukrainian people starved to death? What part of Karl Marx was that? I don't remember. Was that Engels? Was that part of the Communist Manifesto? Or was that the Das Kapital? Where was that? Was that Lenin or something? I can't remember. And hell, that's when the Ukrainians declared independence was when the Bolsheviks took them over. They're like, fuck you, we're Ukrainian motherfuckers. And that's probably why the Russians or the Bolsheviks had to, fucking try to crush the Ukrainian. You think you're Ukrainian? No, you're not. You're a Russian and you're a socialist. You're a Russian and you're a commie, all right? You Ruski commie. You're a Ruski commie, Ukrainian. You better get used to it. Now you're a Ruski. Say it with me. You're a Ruski. You're not Ukrainian. Not anymore. Roughly 1 out of every 5 Ukrainians died in World War II. That's incredible. So he's going to say he's denazifying it because of the Azov Battalion. 97% of the damn government's center or left wing. 97% of the government is center or left wing. 1 out of every 5 Ukrainians died in World War II. Zelensky, his entire, grandfather's family died. Mom, dad, all the brothers, they all died. They all got killed. The one brother survived and was able to have a Zelensky. That's an amazing rags to riches story. So, yeah, to say that fucking denazification bullshit, he's the one acting like a fucking Nazi saying, oh, we're going to stop them Nazis over there. You're the Nazi, motherfucker. Roughly 1 out of every 5 Ukrainians died. God damn, 7 million. 7 million Ukrainians were killed in the Holocaust. So thank you, Russia. Thank you, Ukraine. Talk about sacrificing a whole bunch of their people to stop Nazi Germany. So thank you. I mean, that is offensive to call either really Russia or Ukraine fucking Nazis, but I guess everybody's calling them Nazis. Pripyat, Pripyat, Pripyat was abandoned immediately after the meltdown, and it's a ghost town now. Around 3 million ethnic Ukrainians live in the Russian Federation. The Federation, the highest concentration of those live in Western Siberia as a result of the many deportations of Ukrainians to the Gulag under the Soviet Union. Oh, man, Joseph Stalin, he betrayed the fuck out of the revolution, didn't he? What a betrayer of the revolution. Jesus Christ, I'll take a Lenin or a Trotsky. Maybe, they had the Civil War for a long-ass time, but a fucking Stalin? Motherfucker. You ain't got no soul. You ain't got a goddamn soul if you're sitting there saying, oh, Stalin, he's one of the best. Stalin's one of the best communists out there. No, he is not. No, he is not. Evo Morales fucking wipes the floor with Joseph Stalin. Whoever the fuck is leading Iceland wipes the floor with Joseph Stalin. 22%. And Ukraine can take Western Siberia. If the majority of Western Siberia are Ukrainian, that's the same pretext he's saying, he's taking Donetsk and Luhansk, so just take Western Siberia. That's, the western part of Ukraine. It's also the closest part to America. So I think that's actually fucking brilliant. The more I think about that, 22% of Ukrainian workers pay as deducted in the form of a salary fee that goes towards the pensions of retired Ukrainians. What? They tax the working people of Ukraine to pay the old-ass motherfuckers to sit around and do nothing? They tax the working class 22%. Goodness gracious, that's not freedom. That's not freedom. Crimea, the southeast region of Ukraine, is populated almost entirely by Russian-speaking people, most of whom identified themselves as ethnic Russian. Oh, no kidding? Well, shit, maybe we were wrong about Crimea, but that's why we need to take Western Siberia. The only official language in Ukraine is the Ukrainian language. So there's motherfuckers speaking Russia, speak the fucking language or get the fuck out, you fucking pricks. Because we let you Russian motherfuckers in here. Now look what happened. Now look what you did, you little jerk. You let Vlad the Mad loose. Let Vlad the Mad loose. So you have what? Jackson Hinkle saying, the war didn't begin in February 24th of this year. The Putin didn't invade Ukraine. Ukraine invaded Russia or something. Jackson Hinkle, he's saying that the war began in 2014. Yeah, what, Russia didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on Russia, huh? Poor fucking Russia. Incredible. Jackson Hinkle. Russia today, their propaganda is fucking top notch. I can't stand censorship, but it's fucked up how in YouTube land, the dumbest, conspiratorial, stupidest shit is the shit that gets, the views and the clicks. Wait, that's dumb and stupid? I'm gonna click on that. That's conspiratorial. What? Papa Bush? Papa Bush killed JFK? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna click on that. So no, Jackson Hinkle, this war didn't begin in 2014. I think we should talk about the Euromaidan Revolution because that shit started happening. That happened in 2013. So he wants to take us back 8 years and say, well, look what's been happening in the Donbass. That shit happened because they stole Crimea. And then they want to say, well, that's because of the coup d'etat. Well, you're going to tell me that none of the goddamn Ukrainians, nobody in Ukraine want to, overthrow that fucking Yanukovych? Everybody loved Yanukovych. Fucking just adored the shit out of him. How come Famine, Ina Sevchenko, she didn't like that Yanukovych. She didn't like Yanukovych at all. She said Yanukovych attacked her family. So, if you want to go back, how far back do you really want to go? I think going back to 2013 would be all right. Let's go back to 1999. That's when Putin went ahead and leveled Grozny. And then people are saying that the United States installed Putin. We installed Putin? That doesn't sound right at all. I mean, we helped to bring about the disintegration of the USSR. I felt like Putin was basically the remnants of the USSR kind of picking a strong man and saying, it's all on you, boy. Come on, Fancy. Don't let me down now. Here's your one chance. Here's your one chance, Fancy. We need to bring back the greatness of the Russian Empire. We need the greatness of Russia to come back, okay? Putin, it's all on you, buddy. It's all on you, buddy boo. Buddy boo. He hasn't been democratically elected. He's basically chosen behind closed doors by the damn Soviets. Gorbachev and fucking Yeltsin and all those motherfuckers. So it'd be interesting to see how, deep it was. Putin was, the Clintons? The Clintons put Putin... I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what that's about. They also talking about the biological weapons. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's exactly what they did in Syria. They said they have biological weapons, and then fucking boom, biological weapons fucking dropped. If chemical weapons or biological weapons or goddamn nuclear weapons drop, then you know that he's a fucking savage piece of shit just because he's going in there somewhat methodical, saying that he's not going to bomb civilians, which is smart, right? It looks like he's being the, he's not being aggressor. He's being fucking fair and decent, right? They told him to go fuck themselves, but that's because we are a Russian tanker. We will blow you up unless you surrender. But they didn't warn all those civilians. They didn't warn all those elderly and those children and those women. That elderly couple, I don't know if you saw that elderly couple where they just went to the stop sign and the Russian tanks blew the fuck out of them, piss out of them. I hope it didn't hurt. I hope they felt no pain. They actually didn't stop at the stop sign. They stopped way before the stop sign. They saw a big fucking massive convoy of Russian tanks going by. So did this war begin in 2014? Maybe it began in 882. Maybe it began in 1240. Maybe it began in 1783 or 1709. That's when Peter the Great, the Tsar, that's when he did the Battle of Poltava. So he was meddling in fucking eastern Ukraine in 1709. And then you had Catherine the Grape. Catherine the Grape. Yeah, like what's she grape at? She's not grape at anything. She's going to take Crimea. She's going to take Odessa. And she's going to take Kherson and some other shit. So you got, Kherson, Odessa, and Crimea. And they're fucking taking, Poltava. They're taking all these damn cities in the 1700s. Russia can't keep their fucking hands off of goddamn Ukraine. And Russia cannot keep their goddamn hands off the Ukraine. But go back to the Kievan Rus. That's what Oleg. Oleg is going to conquer the Ukraine. But this is a Swedish Viking. So the Kievan Rus was started by the Vikings. So Sweden and Norway and Denmark, they couldn't keep their damn hands off of, goddamn Ukraine. Then Mongolia is going to invade in 1240. So Mongolia can't keep their damn hands off of Ukraine. That's Bantu. And both of them are going to kill untold numbers of Ukrainian people. Hell, you could say that this war began when Homo sapiens, used his opposable thumb and picked up a damn club 35,000 years ago when he wiped out the Neanderthal. The Ukraine, the best way to make sure that the Ukraine can defend themselves is to give them a nuclear weapon. Give them all the weapons and arms that they could possibly have, all the jets and all the guns and all the bombs and all the weapons that they could possibly have. Ukraine was for the Cossacks in the 1800s, and that's really who the Ukrainians are. The Ukrainians are the Cossacks, right? I mean, that's in their national anthem. And then Ukraine's going to have a brief independence against the Bolsheviks. So it's one thing that the Bolsheviks are going to, basically take Russia over, but then Ukraine is kind of like, fuck you, motherfuckers. You ain't going to come in here and do that. And then there's, the first famine, I heard it happened in 1921. And then the, decolonization or whatever. Then 1932, you had the goddamn Holodomor. 4.8 million Ukrainians were starved to death by Joseph Stalin in 1932. The winter of 1932, Joseph Stalin, I guess, and the Russians didn't plan good enough, and they didn't have enough grain and food for their people, so they went and stole from Ukraine. You cannot trust the goddamn Russians next to Ukraine. You cannot trust the Mongolians or the Swedes. You can't trust anybody, the Greeks or the Tartars or the Turks or the Iranians or the damn Homo sapiens when it comes to the Ukraine. We need to leave Ukraine to run Ukraine's own affairs. They have a right to self-determination. They have a right to self-defense and all that jazz. They have a right to be empowered. The Ukraine, they know their own affairs best, and they are their own best ally. They have a right to defend themselves. That's natural right. That comes back. That's Thomas Hobbes. That's English philosophy 101. Strong, intentional, let's see. There's an international law, too. I mean, one country cannot invade another country. So there's a strong international law argument. I mean, who did Putin appeal to in order to get, justification before getting, before he went off-road and got all cold-cocked and went off-road and shit? There's also a strong moral argument. So Putin's going against goddamn international law, but he's also going against your conscience. He's going against your conscience, the world's conscience. Ukraine was chosen as the Ukraine was chosen as the location for the Yalta Conference, the meeting between Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin to discuss European boundaries after World War II. So that's interesting. Stalin, Roosevelt, and Churchill, they met in Yalta. The first Russian state, the Kievan Rus, the 9th to the 13th centuries AD, headed by the Rurik dynasty, was centered in Kiev, the capital of modern Ukraine. Ukraine's name comes from a word which means borderland. Ukrainian citizen hetman Pilip, P-Y-L-Y-P, Pilip, Orlik, O-R-L-Y-K, Pilip Orlik, authored one of the world's first modern constitutions in 1710. Orlik's 1710 constitution was intended to create a separation of powers within the government. It restricted the executive. It created a legislative branch. It did a number of things. Kiev, Ukraine boasts the third busiest McDonald's in the world. They love capitalism. They love our McDonald's. They have lots of McDonald's in Kiev. They fucking embraced American in the West and everything that we're doing, and we're going to fucking turn our backs on them. The Cossacks were a group of independent communities inhabiting southern Russia and Ukraine, and they're famed for their horsemanship and battle prowess. There are 86.3 men for every 100 women in Ukraine. That's the sixth lowest men to women ratio in the world, with the average ratio being 101.8 men for every 100 women. In 2013, student protesters in Ukraine sparked an uprising that resulted in bloodshed but ultimately overthrew the government. It's known as the Revolution of Honor, also called the Euromaidan Revolution. Wait, 2013? I thought Jackson Hinkle said this shit happened back in 2014. Student protesters. Wait, that's the CIA. No, students in Ukraine, they can't think for themselves. The students in Ukraine, they didn't want freedom and independence and democracy. They weren't doing that. They didn't make that choice for themselves. That was the CIA planted and, funded. They did it from the start to finish. 71% of the Ukrainians' land is agricultural. 71%. It's all farmland. And 56% of it's farmland. Permanent crops You only got 1.5% that's from permanent crops, so it's all about turnover. It's not about the apple trees. Permanent pastures, 13.6%. The forest is 17%, other 12%. The Ukraine is about 3 times the size of the UK, and it beats the second biggest country, France, by 50,000 square kilometers. The Ukraine is divided into 24 oblasts. And what is an oblast? It's a county. There's 64 counties in Colorado, 24 counties in the Ukraine. The Ukraine is a country, and it has less counties than Colorado. Colorado has, 6 million people? The Ukraine has 46 million people, so you got 46 million souls. The biggest country in Europe, 46 million souls, and we're not going to defend the Ukraine? What the fuck? America's got to get out of the war game. We got to get out of the war game. We fucking suck at this shit. Oh my God, do we suck at this shit. Their bus tram service in the Ukraine is only 30 cents. They got such a well-developed system of public transportation. Every large city and regional center is connected to the railway network. They receive passenger trains daily from major cities, and they're cheap and efficient. Bus and tram services, they cost about 30 cents, and that's it. Airports in Ukraine easily accessible by public transport and service buses or taxis, which only cost you $0.25 per kilometer. Oh, see? That's how the taxis get you. Well, it's cheaper. No, it's $0.25 per kilometer. It's only 30 cents to reach Kiev, Borispil Airport. You can take an express train from the railway station. Kiev, Borispil Airport. So it's kind of incredible that you have all my heroes are against defending the Ukraine. The U.S. empire was the point of having an empire. What is the point of having $700 billion? We just spent $700 billion on the war machine, and we're not going to use one shiny penny in defense of the Ukraine? What the fuck? This is Chris Hedges, Max Blumenthal, Jimmy Dore, Jackson Hinkle, Spar and Brawl. At least Sam's firmly in the Russia camp. Cam seems to be more hesitant, but Sam, he actually thought that Russia piling along the border was all much ado about nothing. That's what he predicted. Oh, it's all much ado about nothing. No, it was not. It wasn't much ado about nothing at all. In fact, the goddamn White House was 100% correct. Haas, Aaron Mate, Sagar, Crystal. We only need one Aaron Mate, not 7 fucking million of them. 7 million Ukrainians that's how many Ukrainians were killed in the Holocaust. We just need one Aaron Mate. We just need one Aaron Mate. And now I'm looking at Stephen Colbert and motherfucking Sarah Silverman and all these establishment motherfuckers. Even goddamn Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis gets it. Even Ashton Kutcher gets it. How come Max and Chris and Jimmy, how come they don't? You know, like I said, they're, to the left of me. I respect anybody to the left of me. Let them speak. Let them keep on, keep on fucking pointing the differences, poking holes, in the arguments and shit. But ultimately, they're fucking wrong. They're goddamned wrong. Locals in the Ukraine, they enjoy drinking stewed fruit kompot, which is a non-alcoholic sweet beverage. It's prepared by cooking different types of fruits such as gooseberries, rhubarb, strawberries, apples, and sour berries. Sour berries, rhubarb, gooseberries. The drink is often flavored using spices, particularly in winter months when it is served hot. Let's all have ourselves a nice hot cup of kompot. Did you get some kompot? Drink some kompot before you turn your back on the Ukraine. What did Famine ever do to Max Blumenthal? What did Ina Shevchenko ever do to Chris Hedges? Huh? What did Mila Kunis ever do to Jimmy Dore? What did Mila Kunis ever do to Jackson Hinkle? So let's just have ourselves a nice, cup of kompot. Just some gooseberries and, how do you make kompot?